Hi guys, welcome back to the Heel Podcast. It's the first one in
months.
Whoa, months.
September, so 3 months.
We will say we were going to do one for Crown Jewel, but never bothered really because it was a bit naff, and we didn't want to be those guys that jumps on the bandwagon of just downplaying wrestling and just saying it's a bit crap or whatever. So, I mean, we're going to talk about Survivor Series today, which was also a bit meh. But you did enjoy Full Gear, so we're going to talk about that as well.
I enjoyed some of Full Gear.
You enjoyed the show, you didn't enjoy the length.
He's never had a problem with the length before.
Oh, God.
All right. That's been said. Boys, let me just run you through Crown Jewel, because you will no doubt forget what happened that night.
Oh, God, yeah.
We've had...
There were some good points.
All right, let me read through them, Pete, and we'll be fine. Right. Brock Lesnar defeated Bobby Lashley by pinfall. Damage Control defeated
That was terrible.
Bliss and Asuka to become the Women's Tag Team Champions.
That was okay.
Drew defeated Karrion Kross by escaping the cage. That was crap, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, that was bad.
The Judgment Day defeated the OC in a 6-man tag match. That's as that whole storyline's been. No one gives a crap. Braun Strowman versus Omos was that night. That was terrible. Genuinely awful.
It was two big men smacking each other. It's a bit slow. It used to work, but in today's wrestling scene, it's just too slow paced. It's too drawn out. It doesn't. Yeah, it's not. It's not what we want anymore.
Usos retained against the Brawling Brutes. That's good because
that wasn't a bad match at all.
And
what I remember,
that was always going to be the last women's standings match of Bianca versus Bayley was. Again, I think if I remember rightly, that was a bit of a so-so match.
It was an alright match. The ending was unique with the whole she trapped her inside the ladder and pushed her into the corner so she couldn't get out. I thought that was quite clever.
Actually really good. Yes, we did. We comment on our. I think we commented on our TikToks.
The wrong person won was the issue with that match for me.
I think it was Bayley's time to get the title back, wasn't it? So
yeah.
Or has she had the Raw? She's had both, hasn't she? Yeah.
Yeah.
For a split second, I was like, wait, hang on. And then we had Roman versus Logan Paul, which was itself a good match. Link absolutely pooed himself throughout the entire match. It was a 25-minute match. It was really good. My one takeaway is don't get Jake Paul involved in anything ever again.
It makes me think he's going to be more involved.
Just doesn't. It's not needed. Like, I got his mates being pulled in and being beaten up. The Mike and George. His podcast co-hosts, like, that was fine, no problem. They took a few bumps, and they took them quite well, to be fair to both of them.
Yeah, having Jake come out and beat up both of the Usos on his own was just, no, absolutely no.
Didn't he like
Solo?
Beat up Solo as well, mate. So it was.
No, he didn't. They were separated.
Oh, were they? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he never got to Solo. Solo never got to him.
That's where it's going.
I think in that, though, boys, we can safely say that is what, 4 from Logan. He's had bloody good matches considering his experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You don't like to say it, but yeah, you agree.
I don't.
What, you don't like to say it? Yeah.
I don't like to say it, no.
But I mean, take into it like a duck to water. Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. That's been a feud that's been going for the last sort of month or two.
That match was terrible. The ending was awful. Like, I'm glad Brock won, but it was just. It wasn't even a roll up. He went for he did the hurt lock and he rolled back and did the, like, sat on top of Bobby, like, rolled through and did the pin that way. It wasn't a good pin. It wasn't a good match. It was just a bit meh.
But do we remember the best thing about this whole show?
The end
was
just the fact that it was over.
Was that night, wasn't it? Oh no, we had Bray Wyatt before that, didn't we? God, yeah. Well,
Bray
Rules, wasn't it? Yeah,
Bray was Extreme Rules.
God,
yeah,
blimey.
There was a Bray promo though.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just reading what it says here. Before the main event, Bray Wyatt came out to address the fans. Wyatt spoke about his family and stated that he wanted to be great. Wyatt then stated that he'd become a monster, seemingly referring to his fiend persona, and he wanted to change and rewrite his story. Wyatt was then interrupted by Uncle Howdy on the Titantron, who stated that Wyatt would eventually go into his inner demons and it will feel so good. And to be honest, lads, since Crown Jewel, it's been really good, everything that Bray's touched. I've really enjoyed this slow build, and I'm really glad that he didn't have a match at Survivor Series. I don't think it was needed. Rushed. Yeah, I don't think you need it.
I think they've definitely picked the right first person for him to be in some sort of like story with LA Knight as well. I think he's great.
Wouldn't have seen it coming.
Nah,
I'm genuinely surprised and really pleased about it that it's happened. So yeah. LA Knight is. I thought when he got moved up to the main roster and he got put into the thing,
maximum male model.
That's the one. I thought that was. I'll be honest. I thought that was the end of his WWE career, and he
I think we all did
within a year. And perfect. Get him out of there, and have him where he is now. So yeah. I don't think there was particularly any of the others that sort of build storylines. I suppose Bianca Bailey has built storylines into last night's show. Even the Usos, Brawling Brutes, but again, those were two of the highlights from the show. Judgment Day and OC will be going on forever by the sounds of things.
You've seen one of the speculated matches for the Usos coming for Mania, aren't you?
No.
Logan and Jake versus the Usos for the titles.
Yeah, it won't happen. I really think Logan's going to be tied up with Cena. Mania.
Do you know what? I don't necessarily need Cena now. Spoiler. Theory won the title last night, and I wouldn't mind seeing Theory versus Logan Paul, and Logan even beating Theory at some point, like for a minor title.
I mean, if I remember rightly, Theory built a bit of a rivalry with Cena on Twitter and stuff way back. So that would be a pretty good fit.
But I think Logan, if he is coming back, will probably be around the minor title belt, and it makes sense that he will be around the US. Do we think? Being an all what they call him an all. Was he one of these ones that go into the All American categories?
The All American, possibly. I don't know.
The thing that does worry me,
not really sure how it works.
The NCAA, whatever it is. Yeah.
Jake was at Crown Jewel, so we are going to be seeing more of him, which is worrying.
I disagree. We might see him again at Crown Jewel. Another Saudi.
More of him. If we see Logan, I think Jake's going to turn up every time.
You're going to see more and more.
I'm hoping they.
I mean, he's been there. He's been there 3-4 times, and Jake's been there at least twice.
Yeah,
and neither time it's been fun. Like, I'm not gonna lie, just keep that guy away from my television.
Yeah. I think that was it.
That's my criticism. I'm trying to think. Be negative.
No, this is why I want a podcast. To be fair, because we're only like 8 minutes in, and we've pretty much covered all of Crown Jewel without being too negative. So I think we've done quite a good job there. Yes, it was a month ago. Yes, there was good spots, but the show itself was a bit. We liked. We come back to Logan again, but we did like the Logan with the phone spot. That was cool.
Yeah,
and it went all over. It went all over the socials, didn't it? As well.
Yeah, TikTok liked it too.
It was clever.
It was very Logan in fitting with a character that's him, not even the character, it's just himself. So
yeah.
I mean, well, I haven't said that. I suppose Logan is a character within himself as well. He just hypes himself up for on camera, don't you? Same as we do, really. Cause,
I'm proper hyped.
Yeah, you got pulled a boring fucker this morning, mate. So
by who?
Somebody on TikTok.
TikTok.
But you got called a boring fucker. I feel like that's an upgrade.
Was I asleep at the time?
No, you were. No. If you notice on the TikTok that you were asleep at the start of the Kevin Owens match, and it happened to be that I had it all set up as a 4, but I edited it so that you got removed. A background went behind it, and then I just put on the 3 of us, me, Pete, and Beyblade, and then all of a sudden it went along a little bit. Something happened. You woke up, and then all of a sudden the TikTok goes, whoop, and all 4 of us are back. So I did try to save you from being abused for being asleep because you had a long day, man. You had a long day.
Don't even care.
Streaming live on our Twitch at twitch.tv/The Heel Project. Check it out. If you haven't checked out and you found us here first, then
fair play.
How? Either I've got lucky with the tags or Pete's done a bloody good job.
Yeah, you got lucky with the text.
Yeah. Okay, Pete's my boy. Right, we will run through Full Gear because I don't actually know all the results because I didn't stay up and watch it. And to be honest, I'm glad I didn't. So I had a busy day the next day, and it hadn't finished. It was gone 5 o'clock for the finish, wasn't it?
Was it just me, you, and Titch to watch that then, Pete? I can't even remember.
No, it's Phil.
Yes, Phil stayed up all night. Do you remember? We said we are going to tell you now, Phil. We all said
we put bets on you not being there.
We all said you'd either or wouldn't make the whole night at least, and you did.
Yeah. To be fair,
so well done. We're proud of you.
I almost didn't make the whole night.
Thought you'd pull a Titch and disappear halfway through.
No, I'm glad Titch left us last night because she was in no fit state. I would have killed Titch. If you see this, I would have killed you last night if you stayed there all night.
I'm glad Titch left.
Yeah, you were asleep within the first 5 minutes. I'm glad you went to bed. Right. Let's talk AEW, boys. We had the pre-show. Best friends Orange Cassidy, Rocky Romero, and Danhausen. They beat some other guys. Ricky Stark.
We didn't see it.
Yeah, we didn't.
We didn't see that match. No.
Did you see the Ricky Starks Brian Cage one?
Oh, we did. We saw that.
We saw that one.
World Championship Eliminator Tournament semi-finals. Eddie Kingston also beat Yun Akiyama. I'm gonna guess.
And that was quite.
We saw that
probably
that was quite a close match.
What else we have? We had Jungle Boy defeated Luchasaurus.
We see half of that
in a steel cage match by submission. Did we have internet issues?
We had
major stream issues.
Okay,
but it was only for that one. It seemed to get better after.
Oh, okay. So then we had a 6-man tag team match for the AEW World Trios Championships. Match 1 in a best of 7 series. That is bloody long.
Yeah.
Okay, it wasn't advertised as a best of 7 series until after the match.
Yeah, and when they lost, it was like, this is now a best of 7.
Yeah. So when Death Triangle beat the Elite,
it become a best of 7.
And then make it a best of 7. Yeah. So it wasn't a best of 7. It was like, oh, this match actually means something. And then it's like, this is a best of 7 series. And it was like, oh, that match meant absolutely.
Yeah. You'll take the pin. Because you know it's not the end of it, so you're still going to end up as staying as World Trios.
You're going to lose.
No, Death Triangle are the World Trio champions, aren't they?
Death Triangle.
And Death Triangle will win the next 2, and then it'll all change.
Jade Cargill also defeated Nyla Rose. Chris Jericho beat Bryan Danielson and Claudio Castagnoli and Sammy Guevara for the Ring of Honor World Championship. So that
was a really good match. Really, really good.
I'm not surprised. On paper, it sounds fucking fantastic.
Yeah, we said that going in as well. It was like, on paper, that is
definitely one of the standouts on the whole card, to be fair, for me. Saraya defeated Britt Baker just in a singles match. Was that match any good?
I felt bad because it followed an amazing match, and it was all good.
No, it wasn't. I'm sorry.
It was awkward.
She's actively said on multiple times, on multiple platforms as well, I won't be taking this move, I won't be taking that move, I won't be taking this move. So it's like, okay, so we're protecting your neck that much, it's clearly not safe.
Yeah.
She literally, she come out after and said how amazing Britt is for carrying her the match.
Yeah, it's
that just feels wrong. You should stay retired at that point.
Yeah.
That's one of those. It's like you come back. She should have been nowhere near AEW. Come back for a one-off Mania match, and that be that.
Yeah, like I'd be glad if that was Paige's one match, just a swan song. Come back, prove that she could still do one, and then done.
She's not.
I'd have been like, you know what? Okay, I can do that. And
it's on your terms.
I'd have been like, okay, fair enough, but she's not. That's her returning, and it's just.
It's wrong, isn't it? It's wrong. It's pushing. It's pushing. It kind of destroys a lot of the women's division as well. To be fair, over at AEW, the fact that you're basically putting out a 50% woman, and then it pushes, and she's going to be higher on the card than most of the women there, just because of who she is.
Yeah.
So it sort of buries them a little bit. The ones that sort of the slightly lower down ones. So
yeah,
it did show how amazing Britt. It showed how amazing.
Britt is fantastic. Like, I've no argument with that.
Britt
no
was
argument
amazing.
at all. I think the promo packages as Britt for Britt in that as well was really good when she said that she joined as a green young wrestler, had not really much exposure on the scene. She'd had a bit, obviously, but nothing major. And now she is the scene. Essentially, she is the person in the industry. She's carried that industry. She's carried that division.
She definitely has.
She's AEW Charlotte Flair.
Yeah.
You're right now, Shoes. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Samoa Joe defeated Wardlow and Powerhouse Hobbs to become the new AEW TNT Championship, which obviously means Wardlow's lost the TNT, which is going to set him up for being able to eventually take it off of the
which is why
World
it
Champion.
was a multi-man. Which is why it was a multi-man match, so that Wardlow could take the loss without taking a loss.
Oh, was it Hobbs that took the submission? Okay, that's why that would have been what I guessed at. So yeah, fair enough.
It wasn't a bad match either.
No, it's all right.
Oh, I mean, again, on paper, that's 3 big boys. Like,
do you remember Wardlow's spot off the top rope as well?
No, he's crazy.
Absolute nuts.
Like, he's crazy. Yeah, a guy that size shouldn't be hitting a whisper in the wind. It's mad.
Yeah.
Now I have questions on this one because it sounds. I'm sure other stuff happened. Was that on this? No, it was before this match that it happened. But on paper, it sounds terrible because of the ages. But you got Sting and Darby Allin defeated Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. Was this match really bad?
Yeah,
thought so.
It was. My God, of course it was. The ending was good. So Darby Allin went for the coffin drop, and he got smacked in the back of the head with a guitar as he was falling.
Yeah.
So that was pretty fun.
You knew that was going to happen as well. It was
it was pretty obvious, but it was good. It was an interesting spot, and it was fun to see Darby get the absolute shit knocked out of him. Let's be honest.
It does worry me with Sting because of his age. Every time
they're all just. This is my problem with AEW, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again: is their wellness policies or whatever they've got. Obviously with WWE they've got stricter. They definitely have stricter health codes.
Yeah,
they have to protect the talent, which they never used to. Like this, it's a more modern thing that they've brought in to protect talent. Which AEW just go, oh, you can't wrestle in WWE anymore. Come here, we'll let you kill yourself in the ring.
But they're gonna end up with the same reason of what WWE have changed it for. They haven't changed it to protect talent. They've changed it to protect money.
Yeah.
They're gonna have. Otherwise, they're gonna have these legal.
But I mean, look at it now. You've got Sting, who was forced to retire now in AEW. You've got Daniel Bryan, who was forced to retire now in AEW. You've got Saraya, who's now in AEW, forced to retire. I know there's others. Like I know for a fact there is. Like there's no way can half of the guys that are on that roster that have gone over. Samoa Joe was out with injury a lot. I don't know if he was forced to retire, but he was rumoured definitely
that he wasn't going to be offered a new one because of his injuries.
Yeah. There's others as well. Like, but
that's just on that card as well. All of them.
And don't get me wrong, they're all great, and I'm glad to see them. And I'd love to see them in a spectacle match or a one-off match.
Just don't want them to die.
The thing is, I could get that they want to still go and they want to still earn a living, but it's sometimes you have to put your health first.
The thing is as well, like, look, we've had this conversation, and I keep arcing back to it because it was the pivotal moment in AEW for me, was the match with Sammy Guevara and Matt Hardy, when Matt Hardy got thrown off that telescopic thing, cracked his head on the concrete, and the doctors went, "Yeah, carry on."
During
and then watched him go back it out when he was massively concussed and climb another scaffolding, and it's just like,
there's got to be a
you're
point
going to kill someone. Your doctors are not doing their job. Full stop.
You're allowed to go back out.
Yeah, you are focused on your product and not on the wrestler's well-being, and it's the wrong way to do it.
It is. You need to protect.
Oh yeah, they were so lucky that Matt Hardy didn't die that night. Like, it was ridiculous.
But anyway, and new AEW World Women's Champion Jamie Hayter beat Toni Storm.
She did. Yeah. I predicted it. It was the right move.
I don't know who this is.
They've done it quite well with the interference. There was a lot of interference in that match.
She's good.
Yeah,
she's good.
I clearly don't watch enough AEW because I don't even recognise the name. We had one of Link's favourites beating one of Link's other favourites. The Acclaimed beating Swerve in Our Glory. You love a bit of Keith Lee, don't you?
Me, Daddy. I do love a bit of Keith Lee. I also love the Acclaimed. They are fantastic. Were they? Oh no, they were. They were the champs going in. They retained their World Tag Team Championship.
We did see the split.
And this is the split for Keith and Swerve as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ben,
Swerve
thank God.
A long time coming.
Thank God.
We I think the last time I watched a bit of AEW, we thought it might happen that night.
It was being teased. Yeah, it's been teased for a while.
And that was
let's be honest. Swerve's just. Sorry, TikTok. I'm not a fan. Okay, I've said this before. I'm not a Swerve fan.
Got abused.
I got abused a lot. By the way, I don't know if anybody knows this, but I'm fat. Like just.
But do you know what? Keith Lee's also a big boy.
Keith Lee is a big boy, and do you know what though? He's a great big boy. He really is. Really is good.
Up on you.
Yeah, because he's better than me. Thanks.
I'm there all week. I'm probably not. I'll be here in 2 days' time on YouTube.
Yeah, genuinely though, like for me, Keith Lee should have been a single star. He should have been a single star in WWE. I don't understand why they dropped the ball with him as badly as they did. I know he had his injury and he had his heart problem. I believe he had.
Nice dog.
Yeah.
Was it a heart issue he had?
I'm not entirely sure.
He was out for.
That's what was remembered about it.
Can't remember.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm glad he's healthy. If he's healthy again, I'm glad he's healthy again.
I just don't want him to make the same mistake and him get lost as a single star.
Yeah, do you think he will?
There's a good chance, I think.
AEW aren't that great with their stars, are they? Look at Miro. They are seeming to just go, oh yeah, these guys are great, and then just forget about them and leave them on the shelves. And
I think it could happen.
And I can do it one more time. And new AEW World Champion. MJF is now world champion. We saw it coming. We predicted it. We knew it was going to be him, and we know that it's going to be Wardlow next. William Regal turning on Moxley as well.
I didn't see that coming.
No,
it was only a couple of minutes before, and it's like, hold on a minute. Why is Regal shouting Moxley to get the ref? You called it up, Link, instead of kind of trying to wait. And it was like, something's going to happen here. Surely not. And it was kind of, it was. It was telegraphed enough that you could tell that something was not. Everyone was second guessing.
Right.
It wasn't quite like a complete. Yeah. But enough that you still were like, no way. When you could see it was coming, like, not a chance is it going to happen.
Those noises.
It has happened. He has turned on.
Those noises were made.
I mean, I'm good at seeing the subtleties in wrestling. You know, a lot of people don't immediately notice. And there were just those tiny little touches, and it was just like, what's happening here? Because there was a point with Regal and MJF, they had a bit of a shout off, because MJF had the ring, and they had a bit of a shouting match between each other, and MJF was listening to him, whereas he could have just smacked him and that'd have been it. But he actually listened and communicated, and I was just like, why are they?
It's a very it's like a very non-heel thing to do, to stand there and listen.
Yeah,
it's not saying he's her face. It's just that there was something more like, he's a heel. We shouldn't really be listening to this. He should just be going savage, being a bit dumb. Actually, no, I've said that faces are quite often perceived as being dumb as well. So
yeah, it was very much for me, that was the subtlety of them like working together without being like, oh, they are working together, and I was just like. This is odd.
It was
and obviously, it developed within that match, and yeah.
Is this
full health?
Did you see the there's been a couple of memes floating around that it's all because of the Elite, and essentially because obviously all of Blackpool Combat Club were champions pretty much, weren't they? Like Claudio was the Ring of Honor champion. Mox was the AEW champion, and Wheeler Yuta was the Pure. Is it the Pure champion? Or Ring of Honor Pure champion?
I'm gonna say yeah.
I think it's the Pure champion.
And
obviously they've got a great manager. So the meme that I'd seen was, oh, you're getting over more than the Elite, so we'll take all of your titles, we'll take your manager, and that's the end of that. Because it is, isn't it? Like, what can they do now? They can't be the Blackpool Combat Club without the only person in the group from Blackpool. It makes no sense.
Well, that's it, isn't it? Is it a case of now it's just pretty much disbanded?
I think it's going to be.
It was only last weekend, wasn't it? full year. Yeah.
And not only that, but who's gonna side with who? Like, where's
I could see Brian going over, but Claudio don't work with Regal. But Claudio just wouldn't work.
Why?
I can't see him. I think he'll carry on as more of a face character.
I think I kind of get what you're saying, but I think Claudio needs the manager for his mouthpiece. So I think it makes more sense to move Claudio over onto the heel side and have that mouthpiece than it does to have someone like Daniel Bryan who can speak in that team.
Yeah.
I think personally, that's my personal opinion on it.
What I did like though was the press conference afterwards. MJF's
Thank you.
press conference.
Fuck you. Bye.
It was absolutely.
That's like one of your outros.
Yeah.
Even when he walks out and Tony Khan was sitting there and he was like, "Who's listening to this guy anyway?" He was like, "Why bother listening to this guy? This guy don't know nothing."
Yeah,
it was brilliant.
He's a brilliant character.
I do like his
character. Is this? I am obviously saying Wardlow.
We said Wardlow but
how long do we think MJF's gonna have this for now?
I reckon he'll have it for a while.
Yeah.
I reckon he'll have it for a while though.
I don't think they'll rush Wardlow.
The next one,
it'll be next year.
Do you think he's gonna have it until Revolution, which is in March?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Decent.
Yeah.
It's a decent length then.
I feel he'll get a decent run with it.
I reckon he'll probably have it longer than that. To be honest with you.
The thing is, I think
announced anything after they haven't. So yeah, Revolution's the 5th.
He'll have it to one of their big ones. Yeah. So he'll have it to like All Out or Full Gear. He'll have it to All Out. I reckon will be the big one, which is normally April time. I think it is.
Him having that title and doing promos will draw eyes.
All Out was September this year, mate. It was the same weekend.
Okay.
We'll draw eyes.
That's a long old run, but yeah.
It will draw eyes over to AEW with him as a mouthpiece, as a champion, basically the face of the company.
It's funny actually. He gives a lot of. I know he gives a lot of shock factor on TikTok because people haven't been watching wrestling for years, and there's this guy that's just swearing at a kid.
Yeah, but it gets.
It's like people are like, wait, what? Hang on.
I don't know if you guys have seen, but he has built up for a match with Paddy the Baddy when they come over to London next year.
Yeah, already.
Yeah,
so perfect example.
They had a back and forth on Twitter, and basically he called him a wannabe Conor McGregor, and Conor McGregor also chimed in, and said that he'd support Paddy. So I mean,
I think
I can't lie. I'd want Conor on MJF's side if I'm being honest.
I don't care.
Paddy.
I'd rather just not have Connie anything. Connor anything to do with it. To be honest with you, Connie. Yeah,
but that could actually be really fun with MJF and Paddy.
It shows how good MJF is. Phil said
they are both really good fun.
Phil watched it with us, and he's never watched an AEW event.
That baffles me.
He said he's never. He didn't really know who any of them were.
I mean, he did. He said he'd seen clips and things. He knew.
He's heard of
Must
them.
have known MJF.
Phil's doing the fucking play dumb card. He knew.
I think he ended up a bit of an MJF fan. He said he'd watch MJF again.
Of course you would.
Yeah,
who
wouldn't?
From that,
like,
he has been the shining light for AEW for the last 2 years.
It's murderous they haven't put that title on until now, but.
Again, it's a long build though. It's obvious. Wardlow's gonna. It's almost looks dead certain. I'm not even a bloody regular watcher. In fact, I know it's going to be the fact that Wardlow's lost the title now, so there's space for him to get the main title as well. And it's like
I think he'll go back for the thing. He'll still be in that.
He could well do.
They're not going to rush it. No. They're not going to rush it. Like I say, MJF said he just got the belt.
But I think
they'll give him a different defender. They'll give him a different couple of defenses first before Wardlow goes up for it. But
yeah.
And I am excited to see MJF with Regal now. I think this could be a really good partnership.
Do you think they're staying together then? They are staying as a pair?
I think they are. I think it works. They wouldn't have done that whole shock factor him turn on Mox unless there was something.
But they could do though. They definitely could do because it could. They could have done. It's not that Regal's gone with MJF, it's
they just didn't want to be with
Regal's
Mox
gone against Mox, and then you have the rivalry between Regal and Mox, which is different.
Yeah, but It's hard to do a rivalry with that.
Yeah, it is, but I mean, it could easily be done. It's hard, but I wouldn't be surprised if they tried that. But in my opinion, I think he will be staying with MJF for a bit. Anything else happened in AEW that I've missed in the last sort of couple of months?
Yes, lots of things.
But
I'm sorry that I don't remember
outstanding.
them.
Oh, CM Punk! CM Punk, have we spoke about him?
No.
Someone said on our Discord yesterday, I think it might have been Thub, that apparently Tony Khan doesn't want to pay out his contract. And that they're hoping that they can resolve shit.
There's a lot of money involved, so I can imagine that would be the case.
All I've got to say is, play this TikTok now!
I'm Phil. I'm very Phil.
I am Phil. I am very Phil.
I'm very Phil.
Yeah, just stick to me, Phil Brooks, mate. We have no interest. Look at me making an edit for myself. Fucking knobhead.
He's going to be back. He's going to be back. They're already teasing it. The Elite are doing things on Dynamite where they're pretending to bite people and they're reenacting the fight that they had backstage and they're trying to be funny about it. Kenny Omega literally won a match on Dynamite with a go to sleep. Like it's like they're full on juicing it out and trying to draw more interest into the whole bollocks that happened.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest with you, I mean, I've said this a million times in the past, but Phil Brooks, fucking CM Punk, whatever you want to call him, is an unprofessional piece of shit, and he has no business being anywhere near the wrestling industry anymore, despite the fact he is a massive draw and makes a lot of money. I mean, he's fragile as well. Like, he's constantly injured. Like, he's had 2 matches and he's been injured during both of them. Like, just go away.
Time for Phil to move on because the wrestling industry's moved on already.
The thing is, if you're him and you get offered all this money, you're not going to turn it down.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
No, well, I get that.
You say that, but he has done for like 10 years beforehand because WWE have been knocking on his door. Let's not pretend that they haven't. He's
done a Ric Flair and getting a bit bankrupt, I reckon.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's not divorced from AJ yet, so.
Peter, are you seeing that?
What?
Did you see Link's screen? You were fine for me then. That was weird. Link was going. His camera. That was so strange.
No.
Pete was absolutely fine, but Link, your camera was going. You weren't sucking dick, by the way.
I'm aware. What a strange.
Survivor Series War Games.
He was only drinking from a bottle.
Survivor Series War Games was last night.
Yes, it was.
I'll be honest, I was hoping for a bit more from a pay-per-view from it that's War Games, and it's definitely gotta be up there for one of the worst War Games. However...
Wait.
What?
No.
Yeah.
One of the worst War Games.
As a pay-per-view.
War Games is normally really, really good.
Oh, sorry. War Games is in the WWE War Games, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because if we go back to WCW,
no,
trust me, this was not the worst.
I'm not including WCW. I'm on about the ones that since they've moved it up from NXT.
Okay.
I think you've got to start from right.
The only ones since they moved it up from NXT.
Yes, but including NXT as well.
Yeah. I think you've got to start from right at the beginning.
Why you got to make complicated shit so complicated, boy?
There was one thing that started us off on a bad note straight away.
What?
That hour-long pre-show.
Just put in a match of something.
Half the pre-show would be fine. You've only got 5 matches to talk about. You spent an hour talking about 5 matches.
Honestly, put in a gimmick match or something just to mix it up. Just get something for us to even just give us a fucking laugh. Put our truth out there. Do something. But it was the fact of we didn't see a single wrestler there live. It was all nothing but the main, 6 of them that sit around a table, cut into a few promos, but none of the actual wrestlers were there. And it's like, oh my god, this is the longest hour ever. Let's just do something. Let's stick the IC title on them, or not even the IC title. Maybe build up for an IC match for we have a number 1 contenders match or something. So
it would have killed that crowd. That crowd killed the atmosphere. You could tell.
And I will say this was a big part of the High Dog. The big part of the show last night. The crowd were crap until the last 2 matches. They were crap until Seth Rollins.
It was
appeared.
A bad crowd.
Until Rollins appeared, crowd. Boston, you sucked. Absolutely sucked.
I don't.
That could be true in a pre-show or not. I don't know, but
no,
yeah.
I think yes, okay. I think it does come into a bit of War Games. We did say, especially with the women's one that was on first, the match was okay, and the ending was a bit better, but the whole build-up of gradually bringing them in, it didn't work. It didn't work with those 10 women.
I remember seeing Io Sky and that moonsault from the top of the cage.
That was good.
And that was... It was kind of heart-stopping because she was upside down for a long time. I was like,
one thing
God.
Link goes on our stream. He goes, "Look how long she's upside down for." I'm like, Link, that's a slow mo.
Yeah, but no, she was upside down for a long time in the actual thing as well. It was like she basically turned herself 180, was upside down, and almost until she hit, and then they helped her with the rest of the rotation to get her back the right way up before she went down. But it was, if she'd have missed, that would have been, she'd have gone basically vertical into the floor. It was. Yeah, it was bad.
You did pick up on the fact that the Tower of Doom wasn't hit.
That was an interesting spot. Yeah, it got broke up and they didn't do the Tower of Doom for a change, which is quite cool.
The fact it wasn't completely predictable, that the some of the spots, which were good. I don't think it was botched or anything. I think it was just like they went to set for it.
They wanted something different.
And that was it. They moved away from it because it didn't come off. Because not every move that you set up for has to come off. It can be broken up, whatever.
Counted and
the thing is that is used at every other Cage War Games match. You'll see that's how
it's used. It's not even that, mate. It's used in any multi-women match.
Multi-person.
It's multi-women's in particular at the minute, especially with Bianca involved.
Yeah.
So make Bianca look strong.
And don't get me wrong. It's great to see Becky back. It's good. There's some good names that were in that match. Like
there was
the fact that you've got Rhea. I'd argue Bianca, Bliss, Asuka, maybe not Mia, Becky,
Rhea.
Hang on, I'm just going through them. Becky, Bayley, and Rhea, and then you could maybe make an argument for Nikki Cross again, but unlikely. But all those I've said could all be world champions. It won't be Dakota Kai, Io Sky at the minute.
Not yet.
But that's a lot of potential women's world champions that could be, have been, whatever, and that can be competing for the main women's titles. So maybe we're going to start seeing what's the word?
The return of
the
Charlotte
revival,
Flair to squash the whole division and take over it.
Well, we might end up with a revival of the women's divisions because they have been crap, and the fact that Ronda's champion isn't helping no one.
You're right.
But the fact we could have a decent revival with the Raws, and hopefully
the thing is, you've got
women's wrestling goes back to being really good, because I did enjoy it a few years ago.
Yeah, you've got two massive draw names that are waiting to come back as well. So,
you're about to say Sasha Banks, aren't you?
They're going to bring her back soon. It's a massive draw. It's a massive name for them.
Put some respect on Naomi's name, bitch. Because you're saying Charlotte. You're saying Charlotte and Sasha. Put some respect on Naomi's name. She's a former women's champion.
They're two names that will still main event women's WWE.
I think Naomi's better than anybody's ever gave her credit for. I really do.
I
genuinely wouldn't care.
I don't think she's one of the best in like the division as such, but I think she's definitely an underrated wrestler on where she's been put for sure.
Yeah,
I genuinely wouldn't care if I never saw Sasha again. But I'd be a little bit gutted if I never saw Naomi again.
She has a bit of the Phil Brooks about her, I think, Sasha.
Yeah. I think it's the whole same thing about Ronda though. They're massive names, they're massive draws. I just don't personally like watching them.
Yeah,
and they're very, very similar to them.
But having said that,
I'd be gutted if we never see Sasha again. I think I'd never see.
Clip that.
What?
He's actually just said, "I will be gutted if we never see Sasha." I
said
again.
the wrong thing.
Oh, I didn't pick up on it.
No, I'd be gutted if we never saw Naomi again. I genuinely could care less if we never see Sasha again. Is what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
I have some interest in every single one. Maybe not me and Yim, but I have some interest in everyone that was actually in that match last night, which was nice. I like Bianca to a degree. I think maybe she could do with a slight gimmick tweak. maybe not even going heel, but there needs to be something. It's.
I wouldn't mind her seeing her go to a heel at this point.
I've said a while ago. A heel Bianca and Montez Ford together would be really fun.
Yeah.
I mean, he's fallen out with injury at the moment. I'm assuming he is.
I don't know, but it would be. If he is out and when he's back, then that would be really fun. But again, Bliss, I think's fantastic. Asuka, I really enjoy. She's not as good as she used to be. Becky, I enjoy. Mia Yim, I just said I don't care. Bayley, Dakota Kai and Io Sky, I like as a tag team.
They work.
It. Yeah, so I wouldn't necessarily. I don't really have that much interest in them in singles, but as a tag, yeah, okay. And Nikki Cross, I think's funny as balls,
especially with her gimmick back.
Rhea's great, but not. I'm bored of her current gimmick in Judgment Day. I hate to say it. I'm bored of Judgment Day massively.
She's been very limited what she can do though.
She has been. I don't think she's had enough to shine through with the Judgment Day stuff yet. I mean the OC are the wrong people to feud with just because I hate Gallows and Anderson, if I'm deadly honest. I just can't. Gallows
and Anderson will be will be tag team champions again at some point soon. So it's like more than likely.
Speaking of Anderson, the current never openweight champion over in New Japan, I believe he is.
Mm-hmm.
I believe he is.
Yeah, he's never openweight.
He is confirmed to be wrestling at Wrestle Kingdom on January 4th, as is Kenny Omega from AEW. So it will be a show with New Japan wrestlers, WWE wrestlers, AEW wrestlers, and I believe there is a Stardom wrestlers on there as well. So yeah, it'll be a true Forbidden Door pay-per-view.
Yeah, without even being called it. Or is that what it's called?
No, it's not. It's called Wrestle Kingdom. It's always Wrestle Kingdom.
Oh, in January. Yes. Sorry, January. Yes. Sorry, my bad. But yeah,
which we will be watching live on Twitch. By the way, I know it's a long time away, but we will be watching it. And
that'll be the second. That'll
probably be our next podcast.
That'll probably be the next podcast, and it'll be our second next wrestling pay-per-view thing, because the next one will be Deadline,
yeah,
and then the next one will be Wrestle Kingdom. Blimey, ain't got a lot. We ain't really got a lot lined up, have
There's
we?
not a lot there. Christmas period, they're not putting anything out really, are they? So
but as we're talking about the OC, AJ Styles defeated Finn Balor as well last night. A match that I don't care about, despite AJ being one of my favourites right up there. I love AJ. But Pete shared a mad fact with me. Pete, would you like to say it? As you have found the article, Link might be surprised.
Yeah,
I was probably asleep. Sorry.
No. He sent it to me deliberately to me, so I
just
knew
so you
about
didn't see it.
To mention it.
This is AJ's first WWE pay-per-view win in over 3 years.
What?
Yes. AJ's first WWE pay-per-view win in over 3 years.
That can't be right.
That's all we
Tell
thought.
me another match. Tell me another match.
He hasn't won a pay-per-view in WWE in
3 years.
3
Yes.
years. So basically, that's all of COVID. That's before COVID. That's like 6 months before COVID.
He hasn't won a WWE pay-per-view match since then. I was looking at this one. I was like, really?
Should we put that in terms? AJ Styles has finally won his first pay-per-view match since we started the Heel Project.
I see it this morning. It blew my mind. I was like, I'm going to surprise.
It's an article that Pete shared.
I'll message
in the comments. If you find us a match that disproves it, then let us know, because we'd be interested.
Yeah.
But the fact is that is quite a trusty.
I found a full article.
I
found a full article on it.
Jesus.
I cannot think of another match, and I know pretty much most of AJ's matches, and I just cannot think of another one where he won. It does in the article. Does it say singles? Because
let me find this again, because that's the kind of reaction I wanted from the link as well, which is perfect.
That is brutal. Could you imagine losing every pay-per-view for 3 years?
But again, he hasn't actually done that many.
Well, yeah,
not really.
Yeah, he's not really being fully
utilised. He hasn't been around the main event, the main show. He hasn't been around really much of the mid cards.
Hasn't won a singles match in WWE pay-per-view or premium live event in over 3 years.
Singles. Even still.
Yeah.
3 years for someone of AJ Styles' caliber. Madness.
How crazy is that?
Fair play. That is a fact that I was definitely unaware of.
Yeah.
Like, that is absolutely mental.
But either way, that's done. I don't care about this storyline. Move it on, please.
What's the bet he wins a Rumble now?
I told you, mate. He's always that. It is that cherry on the cake that he has missed. He is
missing it.
He's
definitely a contender for the Rumble.
His honours list would be
not
ridiculous.
For this year, though. I think there's other bigger stories for this year.
He had to win it last year. This year just gone. So you started this year.
Should have done.
This one. I told you this was his last chance. Was this year?
He's always going to be a potential Rumble winner, no matter when he's in. He's always going to be.
But realistic winner. It was always going to be. It was always going to be sort of January, just gone, start of this year. That was his last real contenders.
I wouldn't be surprised to see AJ do a number 1 to 30 run in a Rumble at some point and win.
Then go out.
Yeah, or maybe go out, but I think possibly win, to be honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised to see him do the next number 1 entry to win, or number 2 entry to win, like early door to win. Like,
he deserves it. The only bad thing would be it'll be him at Mania, and it'll be like, what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
Because I can't see him pick up a Mania win for a main event. It's too obvious.
Well, I mean, the last time I saw him in a Mania main event was against Shinsuke when Shinsuke won the Rumble, and that just turned into kick each other in the balls competition.
Exactly.
Which I hated.
I think that's the only thing that holds AJ back from winning it. It means he gets a main event match at Mania, and it's like there's bigger people to get.
Hang on, he won that.
What, Nakamura? That was
no. AJ won that. AJ won. AJ versus
that
Nakamura at WrestleMania. AJ won.
That was a long time ago, mate.
Yeah.
It was 2020. It's less than 3 years.
I don't think it was 2020.
It wasn't 2020. That was 2019.
No. Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. So over 3 years ago.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah, it was longer than you realise ago, you know.
Yeah.
Because Nakamura won the Rumble in 2019, didn't he?
Oh, 2018.
2018. Either way, more than 3.
It's one of the other.
It was long.
Yeah.
Definitely longer than you think.
Yeah.
Move it on. Move the whole fucking thing on. Move on the Judgment Day. Break them up. Get rid of Dominic. Stick Priest back in NXT. Do something with Finn a bit better. Stick Rhea back on the fucking World Championship scene. Yeah, I'm bored of it.
Yeah, let her take out Roman.
Ronda Shotzi. Don't care. Ronda was going to win whoever she fought there.
I don't care. Move on.
Yeah.
Heart-shaped nipples.
Heart-shaped nipples. Austin Theory as our new WWE United States Champion. After defeating... Who did he pin? It was Seth. He pinned, wasn't he? He pinned the champ.
Yeah.
He did, yeah. After the spear, it was a very, very good finish, to be fair.
It was a good finish. The spear wasn't as clean as I hoped, but it was very...
I mean, he also cut his head doing it, so yeah.
It was different from what we've seen. So I was really pleased with it, and I know people were like, "Oh," and we said it on our Switch stream last night that Theory's been a waste, the whole Money in the Bank thing. But I'm like, yeah, but we've had a whole different change of management, and the fact is, what we have with Theory now is better than what we had with Otis when they wasted that one.
Yeah,
and it was like, well, we still want him to be about and ready to be world champion in a few years' time, so we're not going to crush him. We're going to give him something different from what he had before, which is like this. He had this desperation Money in the Bank, and instead he's got this desperation of just trying to get a win, and he's ended up with a title with it, and a US title. Yeah. It's no.
They've thrown him straight into a push from a push, so it's worked. It's worked, and they've given him this whole new persona. They've basically repackaged the guy without taking him off TV, which is fantastic. And honestly, I'm happy to see it.
Yeah, I really like Theory. And I think he does get the credit he deserves.
I'm pleased with this because I think with the push with the briefcase wasn't going to end. It's obvious it weren't going to end well for him.
Exactly.
But
he was never going to be
mixed it up.
Cash-in.
They've mixed it up to make it lose out, but they're elevating him, building him slowly now. Give him the US title. Let him have a run with that. He's doing really well. I like it.
He's still 25. And I said to Pete, I think Link, you were actually asleep at this point last night.
The slow build.
I think in 5 years' time, I reckon Theory will have add 3 World Championship reigns.
3?
3.
I said world champion within 5 years. Dan said
I think there's 2 different belts as well. I'm not saying the same belt. It could be that he has
world champion within 5 years. I'll give you that. But 3 reigns is a hell of a prediction.
I'm going to get the 1,000 days with Roman Reigns right. I'm sure of it. With the Universal.
Got a long way to. We're still 6 months off, mate. It's a long old time.
Confident.
Yeah, Theory's a very good shout. I know we did the 5 questions recently, and we were asked who's the future face of the company.
We didn't mention Theory, really.
We didn't mention Theory in it, but we probably should have. Yeah. Definitely should have.
I agree. Although, has that episode come out yet?
I don't know.
If it hasn't, spoiler. I can't remember.
Spoilers!
But also, if you like our 5 questions go whilst we're talking about it, then please leave any questions in the comments below, and they might go on a 5 questions go in the future.
Or on our Discord. We need more questions. It's hard to make question videos when we don't have questions asked to us. We've got
lots of. I think we've got 4 videos still lined up to go out in the next week and a half.
We answered a lot of questions at once.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying them.
We need the questions. We need more questions because otherwise it ain't going to work, really. And it's a shame because it's a good series so far.
It's really fun to,
talk
about wrestling with my friends.
but not necessarily about the current product. It's nice to mix it up.
Yeah, it's just anything and everything.
It's refreshing. It sort of gets us excited or remembering the good stuff, and
it does make us think as well.
Yeah. But Rollins being the one that got pinned, I wasn't sure on that.
No, it makes sense. Bobby's on a much bigger push, and Rollins can recover from a pin. Easily.
I was about to say you could stick Rollins in any feud, and that would elevate the feud at the minute.
Yeah, no, you're right. You are right, and like I said, the match itself was really good, and it saved it because it was the 2 matches before this was so pants, and it really brought everyone up. Rollins' music saved the crowd.
I was about to say,
absolutely saved the crowd.
That's what I was going to say.
That's the only reason that won't come up.
It proves it don't need a belt just for his entrance music. Everyone's so behind him.
Well, you think how loud it was for us at Cardiff.
Yeah. He doesn't need that title. It's just him and his entrance just elevates everything at the minute.
So burn it down.
Are we thinking that carries on as a 3-way rivalry for the US, or do we think it'll be Theory, Bobby? Behave, boy.
The thing is, it's all good because you've still got Brock in the mix, which we
Brock as US champion, though. Could you imagine?
Brock's one of the very few that's never held a minor title.
I know,
he's always been world champion.
I know,
it's because he doesn't need it. Granted, 100% doesn't need it, but
I think for the Bobby feud,
we should have Brock come in, beats Gunther, beats Theory, and then we have Roman versus Brock for all 4 titles and just upset every wrestling hater in the world.
I just don't
because they are what they are. They're not wrestling fans.
Like a coward anymore.
No, not running away. Gunther running away is a bad thing to see.
Gunther looking like a coward.
Just terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. But that happened on SmackDown, didn't it? That did.
It was SmackDown. It's part of this World Cup on Fox thing that they're doing.
But yes, Gunther,
which Braun Strowman is now out of anyway, so it's completely pointless.
He ran away from the person that didn't
from
win.
Someone that lost. Yeah.
It was stupid, man. There's no way Gunther should be running away from anybody. Brock Lesnar runs at him, and he should stand his ground and just stare the motherfucker down.
Hands behind his back, just full on salute,
smack me one. Go on, I dare you.
Look at Brock and just go, big boy.
It's
9, big boy.
Yeah, I don't know how to say big boy in Austrian, but if I did, I would just.
I'd have a guess in French, but I don't know in German. Would be German, wouldn't it?
Grande boy.
Grande boy. Where did you just learn half French?
And this is coming from the guy that used to live in France as well.
I don't speak French.
Half French.
Told you, mate.
Welsh.
My speaking French when it was that one. That one.
We will move on though to the main event. We kind of thought from the start that this was going to eventually lead on to Roman versus Kevin Owens. But the more it went on, maybe we're going to have
I still think it will.
Roman, Sheamus first.
Sheamus is definitely on the cards as well. Yeah.
And then maybe Kevin Owens doing something slightly different with the others of the bloodline.
Well, I mean, it looks like Kevin's going to do something with Sami for a while, isn't
Which, by the way, WWE, that storyline telling in that match at the end.
Brov, fucking no.
Which I think is the best we've had for at least a good year or so.
No, I mean, it's Sami and Kevin.
Yeah.
You can't tell a bad Sami and Kevin story as long as they're...
And then even, so obviously, for those that didn't watch it, why are you watching this podcast? We're 55 minutes in or whatever it is. But Sami... It's not turned on Kevin. They've got this friendship, and he low-blowed the motherfucker to get the bloodline the win, and he'd had this whole thing with Jay.
In the middle of an active no DQ match against him. Let's be fair to him. This isn't. It's not unreasonable for it to happen.
Jay got super kicked Sami earlier in the match as well.
By accident.
He was on his own team.
Sami made the save
at the end to stop Roman being beaten by Kevin Owens. And by the way, I liked that he jumped on the ref rather than Kevin Owens, because we thought, maybe he couldn't do that because there's still part of him that loves Kevin Owens. He just couldn't do it. And even just that was like building up to it. And then they had this back and forth. Then the low blow. Then the reaction from Sami to give it to Jay to then do the splash to take the win and let Jay have the win as well, despite him super kicking him and despite all the build up at the start of the show where Jay was talking to a door like this, or looking at the door. He was trying to listen to Sami round the corner and he was just looking at a door like this. Hilarious. All of it. Great story. Great storytelling.
Very well.
Fantastic.
I think my favourite bit, and it's part of storytelling as well, it's even till the end when the WWE sound come up, none of us were still too sure if there was going to be a Sami link up with Kevin. If someone was going to turn on Sami,
I was certain we wouldn't, because we had that we had the Jay hug. Because we had that Jay hug, it was so emotional.
You can never tell with Kevin and Sami, and I think I like that. It's because that connection.
Kevin was out of the picture though at that point, and I was like,
that was Kevin was done at that point.
Yeah, so Sami's got his approval. Yeah. Jay is so emotionally involved in it. Let that build that they're going to be friends, because otherwise it's a bit crap if he instantly turns. Sami then instantly turned on Jay, or Jay carried on. It would have been a bit, what's the point? That doesn't make sense. But the fact is that he's won Jay's approval now, which is the final piece of the bloodline that he needed approval from.
Well, I love that.
I'm not going to lie. We're sat here talking about it, and I'm just thinking, I need to go watch it again. I really did enjoy it. I really did.
If you haven't checked it out and you haven't got time to skim through the whole thing, the final, I think it's like 4 minutes, is actually one of our TikToks on our TikTok at The Heel Project. Because I felt like it was one of those. Normally I break them up into parts, but to get the real sense of the whole emotion, I kept it as one part for once. Because it was the whole thing was a very good storyline, and I didn't want people to get only half of it and go, that was crap, and then they've not watched the other one and not take the full picture, whereas they might sit and watch it for that 4 minutes because it was that.
It was good.
It sucked me in for sure.
Yeah, and it's perfect. They've brought this whole thing with Sami has now brought Kevin Owens into that bloodline kind of story, and it's going to work so well.
And it's kept the Brawling Brutes and Drew McIntyre as well. They can go off and do whatever they need to do now, or Sheamus can also be involved. It was a good way of doing it. It's like it gives them flexibility as well where they go with these storylines for all I do 10 like of those the idea men now.
A Drew solo kind of feud. I think that'll work really, really well.
Just gonna point this out to you. One of the most recent questions that was asked to us in our Discord about for our 5 questions go. I'm not going to answer it, but one of the most recent questions was, "What's your favorite heel turn?" And I genuinely saw that and I started to think about my favorite heel turns, and it's probably not going to be my answer because if it is, I'd ruin it.
Yeah.
But Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are in those categories on several occasions.
Yeah. And
it's and I was thinking about that last night as we went into the match, and I'm still not disappointed. I just think the storytelling with those two when they are together, they are so good at putting a story together. there are very few in the industry. The only two that I would put on a similar level currently that are active and around, Ciampa and Gargano.
Yeah,
like they're that good as a duo and an anti-duo, I guess. You know, it's
if they're in the ring together or against each other, as long as they're in the ring at the same time, you just get this buzz.
There's a magic. There is an absolute magic. Yeah. I tell you what, at some point down the line, how awesome would a DIY versus Owens and Zayn match be? It's just if you want to put together a dream match right there. Oh,
might actually get me interested in tag team wrestling again.
That would be the one. That would be the one.
I think this was the match of the night in the end, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was always
yeah.
In terms of
the triple threat was very good, but this was match of the night just because of the storytelling.
Yeah, but it was all about that ending. The actual match itself felt a bit slow. There was a couple of good spots. There was a couple of good uses of slamming against the cage, but which the commentator said pinning, and Link didn't like that because he sort of just jumped at them and bounced off of them onto the cage. He's just like, that's not a pin. It's like, yeah, smashed him in the cage.
This whole match was
taken the wrong way as well. So.
It was all about the storytelling. Even when Sammy got thrown out of the little cage, the holding cell, to go into the match.
He stopped Jimmy from going out and threw Sammy out first, didn't he? Because it was going to be Jimmy first.
It was all about
to go out for his brother, and it was very good.
Solo, no, who was? Oh yeah, sorry, yeah. Jay was down first, wasn't he?
Jay was already in. Yeah, it was going to put Jimmy in next, and then Roman pulled Jimmy back and told Sammy to go
and rescue him,
go and help.
But yeah,
loved it.
I to be fair, okay, some of the wrestling's been a bit crap, but on the whole, I think we are slowly on the up on all fronts of wrestling at the minute. AEW, WWE.
Just gonna throw this out there as well, yeah. Sami Zayn is a joke or a comedy act currently, right?
Yeah.
He just is. He has been for a long time. You know, he did the stuff with the Jackass guys at Mania. He knows he's a comedy act. Mm-hmm. He knows he's never going to be the world champion. That's not what he's doing. It's not his style of wrestling. But he's the main event.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
He's the main event with a comedy act, and he is in a great position as the main event, and it's crazy to see, but it's testament to how good Sami Zayn really is.
I've never seen something as good as this since R-Truth. No, he's better than R-Truth.
Do you know what? R-Truth coming out in the Royal Rumble, pulling out a ladder and trying to climb the ladder in a Royal Rumble.
Credit where it's due.
Greatest moment.
If Sammy gives me enough moments in this current gimmick as what R-Truth has over the years, then fair play, because there's an underrated wrestler for you. And that's a nice note to leave the podcast on.
I do worry about his neck every time he comes out making it for his entrance, though.
Who? Sammy?
Sammy's
dancing along to the dance along to the music, which makes no sense of dancing along to that music.
He injured himself on his debut, didn't he? His debut on Raw, he injured himself because he was dancing he threw his shoulder out. That was a match against Cena, I believe. He came out for, and he injured his shoulder. Mental. Absolutely mental.
Yeah.
Love Sammy.
But I've been trying to do the outro for this video for the last 3 or 4 minutes. So thank you very much, guys. Please leave a like, share, subscribe. Check out all of our other videos. Check out our 5 questions go. Check out the other stuff. It's not just wrestling here. We do a bit of gaming. We do a bit of GTA stuff. And catch you in the next one.
See ya.
Peace.
That was a normal one. That was a normal outro.
Fuck off.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Fuck you. Bye.